Greetings, Parhams. It's been a little while, but welcome back to ArcNeo Reviews, finally, again. Um, been actually really excited to look at this figure for a little while, but I haven't, just because it's a big figure, and so there's a lot of little things to figure out about him, because Hasbro directions always leave out like half the info of the figure, but I finally had enough time with it that I feel like I've kind of found everything, as well as I'm going to be directly throwing a little bit of shade, to be honest, at people I can tell rushed out their videos on this figure the day they got it, because there's a number of complaints I've seen on this guy that they're invalid because they're saying, oh, you can't do this thing, when yes, you can. So, enough waffling on. We're looking at the Commander class, Optimus Prime, the Armada universe. And I feel like this is the most worthy of the title Commander class figure I have messed with in a long time. Go ahead, move the trailer away, just look at the robot for a while. Main robot, at least. It's a truck. It's very, very long. Not a ton to say about it. I do appreciate that all the wheels roll very well. Pretty clean, all things considered. Hands are, like, slightly visible back here, but that's it. Not a big deal. I don't have the kind of original, main version of this guy, but I do have the Bendy Deluxe Prime still, for at least a little bit of comparison. I like that even the tires, even though they're, different shapes, still have, like, similar molded details in there. That's actually kind of neat. But no, this guy is I like him quite a bit, actually. Gonna go ahead and get him into his standalone robot mode first really quick. So first thing you're gonna want to do is come up to the front here and shift these, basically the headlight panels, over on double hinges, so that you can then go ahead and open up the whole front end here. It will come down, and this little spot here will go over these two tabs just to hold this all in place. Just accordion all that up. In that move, you have revealed the head. Go ahead and grab these spots here, pull them out, and drop his shoulders down. Come down here, fold these panels up, flip out the feet, fold these back down. Come to the sides here, there's a little tab up on top that you have to undo right behind the wheels, spin it around. You got a little tab right there that will tab into this slot on this side. Look at that lined up. Same thing over here. Go ahead and bring his arms down and rotate them around the correct way. Go ahead and come on, legs. There we go. His legs click together very, very tightly. So go ahead, open up the skirts on him a bit. Just kind of let them hang open to give everything room to move. And there you've got your Armada Optimus Prime in his base robot mode. And, like, even if this was the only robot mode involved here, this is a very, very good robot mode. Really quick for comparison here. Here he is with the Bendy boy, so you can see very, very accurate to the old one stylings. Obviously, there's some color differences and stuff. This is not the one that really would be the true direct comparison. Again, I don't have that one. But you can see, you still got the smokestack guns on the shoulders. Most of the General details are still there. You got the little upper thigh, molded stuff, little silver spots on the shins. All in all, really accurate in a lot of cool ways, actually. Posability on this guy is really good. Head is on a ball joint, get a rotation, some up, some down, a little bit of tilt. Shoulders, full rotation. You got a separate joint up here for the outward. You have a double jointed elbow. The wrists are kind of hidden in this little section, but they do have a rotation. You can rotate them all the way around, which is always a nice touch. Nothing at the waist because of the way that this guy transforms for the super robot mode, but you do have ratcheted legs, kicks forward, move the back plate out of the way, leg goes back, move the side skirt out, non-ratcheted for the outward movement, but still goes way out there. If it wasn't for the skirt, he could actually do the full splits. Ratcheted knee, got 90 degrees of range there. I have unpegged the butt skirt halves from each other. And also ankle tilts. And a little bit of foot tilt, actually. Only goes the one way. And that's mostly because you're actually using transformation joint for the hands later. But still, neat you can do that. So, on his own, already really cool in my opinion. But I'm going to go ahead and get him back to truck mode off screen because it's easier to throw him into the combined mode from there. Oh, and super quick thing before I forget, because I totally didn't forget and edited this back in. The front of him folds down. You have a matrix of leadership. It is not easy to remove. But it is removable. It just goes on a little 5mm port there, so you can plug it onto other stuff if you want. As best guess, this is yep, and even confirmed actually from the profile here. It's molded in clear and then painted gold. But yes, he does have a completely new matrix mold, which is a nice little feature. But for now, let's go ahead and start taking a look at the trailer. And the trailer is where I find a lot of the hallmarks of a rushed video were on this figure. So first thing that you hear all the time is you can't stand it up. And people will start pointing to this section down here as something you can use for a partial stand by, folding it vertical like this. This should already be vertical like this, because if you come down under here, you can see you've got two tabs right here that are slotting in right there. So if you have this piece folded up, you're already transforming him completely wrong. As well as, yes, you can stand him up. There's little guns right here that fold out for the other modes. Go ahead and pop those both down, and hey, look. The trailer stands. Another thing that I've heard people talk about is that this piece back here wobbles around too much. The best way I can show this is on the side here. You've got like multiple joints going on at this point, and a lot of people have this like slightly up a little bit, or I've even seen them still leave it facing the wrong way as well. And so things are just a little bit loose in these different configurations, and so it's, it wobbles around. Just make sure you actually have it folded in all the way up, and this will come down, and so it's, sitting slightly down instead of perfectly flat. Locks in. I cannot get that to turn, so yeah, if this is wiggling, you did it wrong. And then the last thing actually is the gun storage. A lot of people don't like the gun just being up on top. They want to hide away a little better. Also doable, but this one's a little bit of a pain. You have to at least partially untransform one side of this thing. To get the room to go in here, got a tab right down there. Slot the gun in there. Then get all of this locked back together. And there you go. You have cleaner weapon storage. This is not stressing anything. The gun can even still like wiggle around in here. That it's got plenty of room. And no, that does not interfere with the being a truck thing. It does sit high enough to stay over the back of the cab. And worth mentioning, now that I brought the truck back in, when going through different modes, for this mode, you actually have this little red section pushed back. It will usually end up shifting forward and locking into that position while you're messing with them, as well as it is very easy to forget that when you put it into the cab mode, you're supposed to click that back a little bit. But forgot to cover that in my gripey, correcting the internet video. I should probably make sure I get that part done. But it is here, so haha, if you already commented that I forgot. I did not. This part just kind of usually ends up doing itself, and so you don't really have to think about it. So, this thing does have a base mode. I'm not really going to go over the base mode. It's a thing. I'm going to throw it in there really quick. This is like the one part where this version of the figure is a downgrade compared to the original. Because this base mode is such a nothing burger. There's a couple different ways you can do it, depending on how you want your nothing burger base mode. I'm trying to remember even how you're supposed to do it, technically. The main thing to keep in mind when you're going into the base mode is make sure you fold these guns out before you fold all of this up. And this comes up, and if I have all this in position, yep, these tabs will come up and they'll sit in there, but they don't lock in very well, which is a little irritating, but it's whatever. I'm going to bring this just down over there. Yeah, I don't have a lot of... There's only one base mode I've ever seen in Transformers that I genuinely thought was cool. That's the disco, nightclub that Titans Return Soundwave turns into. This is half of a figure laying on the ground, and I've got this all screwed up. I just went ahead and did it off screen. It's base mode's there. It's a big flat base. It doesn't have any spots to connect for ramps or anything like other recent base modes have. This is what I would call the only lame part of the figure. And funny enough, my mistransformation where I had, rotated the very obvious leg section around is actually the only way that these will stay tabbed in. For some reason, they don't ever stay locked in. This mode is here because you have to let the trailer at least pretend it's doing something. It's not the best. And as you saw, I did knock this back section off. It does just pop off. It's got kind of a weird, bigger than normal peg there. And it's easier to get this going into robot mode if we just go ahead and pop it off for at least now. So go ahead and do that. Next thing we're going to do is go ahead and take these guns and fold them up. You can see they've got a tab right here, slot in there. Lock that in. Go ahead and fold these down. Fold out the heel. Come in here. Fold out the foot. Take this panel, fold it down. You've got a slot there, tab there. Bring that little side skirt back down. Same thing over here. This down. this down, those out. Going to rotate this section around, start bringing it up. Take the very obvious crotch pad, fold it up for a second, fold these up, spin this whole section around, spin the crotch pad around, bring it down, fold down the side skirts, bring this down, take this, take the gun off, fold it flat, reattach it. Then I can get this section to fold out like that. This is as far as this section will fold out, but then you can fold that up. You've got these two tabs right here that will actually plug into these hexagonal, 6 sides. I want to say 6 sides is a hex, but these two ports here, this will come up, fold in, lock in there, fold that up, and then finally come up here and fold this section up. Make sure it's leaning all the way forward. And there you've got the bottom half of the Super Robot ready. Oh, and fold that up. And then coming back to the cab here. Worth noting, these are actually removable. Got a little peg on the inside there. You're supposed to be able to, you know, for the Evo Fusion gimmick, put them on the side of the main blaster. Yeah, just attach them and leave them attached. the Evo blaster thing looks dumb. But go ahead, come under here, fold these sections up. Then instead of folding out the feet, you're actually going to rotate these sections all the way around to fold out the hands. Then fold the feet all the way down so that they will actually fill in this underside section. And then you've got these two little spots here that will act like tabs and go into these two slots to lock out the big robot mode fists. Go ahead and put these wheels back on the side like they were for the regular robot mode. Come up here again and fold these open. Fold this down. Just kind of leave it sitting like out like that this time. Come back here. Just kind of bring the arms up on those joints, and then you'll take the whole back of the truck here and separate it and fold it out like this so that you can get the arms at least started. Go ahead and push that section down like I mentioned earlier and forgot earlier and ha ha ha, all that. Go ahead and come in here, fold out the big robot mode head, and it's hard to show, but there are two little tiny notches sticking out on either side of these gray sections. So just make sure you bring up the little red platform the head is on all the way up so that it locks out. Fold out the ears, I guess. Go ahead and take the fists while they're here and fold them back on this joint so that they're kind of going like, make a little L shape like that. Fold this section back up. And then there's a little tab right here on the back of the normal robot fist that will peg in right there into this new gray shoulder section. Same thing over here. Do that. Go ahead and close these back up. Go ahead and leave his arms out like that for a moment so he can T-pose and assert his dominance. Going to take this section and put it into this slot right here. Make sure you folded this piece up like I forgot to do earlier. Now, this part can be a little fussy because you have to make sure that this part goes on the upper rack of this division, while this goes underneath. It can take a little bit of fussing and fiddling to do, but it is doable, and I'm sure someone knows like a magical way to line it up and have it just go in perfectly the first time. But get to go in there, go ahead and take this little red section. It's got two little red tabs on the bottom that I can't show right now. They will peg in either side of the shoulder, just like that. Go ahead and fold this section down. Then go ahead and bring everything down. You've got these two little gray clips that will come up in here and hold everything together. Sometimes while you're doing this, these little headlight sections can get in the way. So if you open them up slightly like that, it will help just make clearance. As well as when you pop everything together, it'll just push them back in where they go. Push that little red section back up and put his arms in position. And there you have Commander Class Optimus Armada Prime in his super robot mode. And this... So I have to be honest, I almost passed on this figure because of the pictures of this mode. It looked so blocky and a little goofy in my opinion. I'm not someone who grew up with like a super strong tie to Armada. I liked the Megatron of Armada because that tank was just really cool, but I didn't watch Armada or anything, so like without a nostalgia, seeing these really bricky looking shots of this guy did not impress me. I'm very glad that I still took a chance on him because standing straight like this, yes, he does look like a brick, but we're going to get into his posability and you'll see just how dynamic this thing can be. So head is once again on a ball joint. You get some wiggle, get some up and down, get a full rotation. Lots of ratchet joints in this mode. Almost everything is. So shoulders, ratchet rotation. These sections actually, because they are the side skirts and stuff from the normal robot mode, do open up to give you, a little bit of clearance if you need for certain poses. The ratchet will let the arm go all the way out. You do have a bicep swivel, 90-degree bend at the elbow, rotation at the hand, and opening fingers, actually, which is nice. Thumb doesn't move, but the fingers do. Nothing at the waist because of the way all of this comes in and locks in. But he does actually have that joint that we used and misused earlier. So if I fold the various... Well, actually, I don't need to worry about the back skirts. But if I fold the front skirt and the side skirts out of the way, he does have a rotation down here that will let you do... that will serve as a waist rotation. Actually, let's go ahead and leave this one up because ratcheted kick all the way forward. This thing can be in the way, obviously. Using this little disconnection here, you can pop this off to get more clearance, but with this together, that's only as far back as the leg can go. You dismantle it. This folds up all the way. You can get back a little bit more. Really, really tight thigh rotation right there. 90-degree bend at the knee. And then the ankle is on a ridiculous pivot, and you can bend up the toes if you want. Also really like the way that these two halves here are actually coming together to still be an articulated ankle. That's really neat. And then obviously there are a few different spots you can put this. There's pegs and stuff. None of it's official stuff, so I'm not going to really go over it, but you can do things with this. I'm just going to stick it back on his butt. But yeah, this guy is he is a ton of fun. And like I said, at least, I can't say I saw like every single product shot for this figure or something, but the ones I saw did not do justice just how posable and dynamic this guy can actually be. Let's go ahead and actually give him his gun. You can see he's got pegs hiding inside of the opening hands to do that kind of stuff with, but yeah, no. Me as someone who, to be honest, is a little sick of seeing Optimus Prime figures everywhere I go, I actually cannot recommend this guy enough. Like, this is such an incredibly fun figure. He's dynamic. He's hefty as all heck. He shows signs of, like, some unused ports around here that, I do know enough about the other figures, like the old version of this guy, to know that he has potential for them to do like a leader class overload or Jetfire that you can combine with. So we do have hints for combinations, including the fact you can take this off. Apparently this coming off is something to do with a Jetfire combination, as I've heard. I used to actually own a Jetfire and an Overload. I just never had this guy. And of course, actually, right before they announced that this guy was coming out, I got rid of my Jetfire and Overload because I'm like, well, I don't feel like buying the Optimus Prime that can burn your house down, so I don't really need the other guys. That's on me. I should have kept them, but now I'm going to see if they release new versions to go with this guy. But even without him, this is such a fantastic little figure. Little. I feel like an old man right now. It ain't little. It's really big. It's little compared to a person, though. But no, he's crazy fun. Obviously, he makes my brain stop working. If you get a chance to get this guy, definitely get him. At least give him a shot. If you have a friend that's got one, check him out. This thing is crazy fun. So, me being stupid and disorganized aside, I really need to see about scripting videos. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry about the wait. Hopefully things will come out sooner. I do have some other videos I've recorded. I borrowed some like third-party Masterpiece figures from Zacmus. I'm editing those right now. I'm not 100% happy with the edits. I may actually go back to him and borrow the figures to do reshoots with, because they were some really neat figures. I want to take a look at them, and the only way I'm doing that is if I go steal his figures back. But anyway, hopefully some stuff will be out soon. But in the meantime, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.